Hello, how's everybody doing? Good to see you all this evening. So, thankfully, I'm feeling a little bit better, still a little rough in the voice, you might hear that, but definitely doing better than I was a couple days ago. Pastor is away on vacation, visiting family for Christmas, and so we need to pray that the Lord will watch over him and his family and help them have a wonderful Christmas and enjoyable time away and be able to come back all refreshed and ready to go. So we'll have a couple of hymns, and Sheila's going to pick out a couple. I'll let her lead the music since I can't sing very well. Give her just a moment. Okay, 468. Okay, 468, Joy Unspeakable. It's on. Can you pull it up a little closer?
Well, which button is it? Because it's not working.
Okay, we'll do verse 4. Okay.
We could do 472.
Okay. 472, follow on. Okay, and for those who came in a little later, thank you for being here. I mentioned before, Pastor is away this week with family for Christmas time. So he asked me to fill in for him this evening. I had a few days I wasn't feeling so well, so I kept working on trying to come up with something. A couple days ago, I finally come up with an idea, and so I didn't have much time to work on it, but we'll give her a go anyways. And what we're going to talk about this evening is worldly pressures. And for those who are younger, teens and kids and such, a lot of times it's kind of brought to you as the form of called peer pressure. Usually it's kids or teenagers that are affected by it. At least that's the way people would see this, and it'd be friends or people trying to convince you to do things that you wouldn't normally do, things that wouldn't be right, or in some cases even things that are the right thing to do, but you don't do it because somebody talks you out of it. Now, as we get older, we become more resistant to it. You start understanding what's right and what's wrong, and you can tell people, hey, I'm just not going to do that because I know it's not right. But even as adults, we start feeling a lot of pressure, especially in today's environment. The government especially is really starting to put pressure on people, even my age, older, every age, telling us things are right when we know they're not right. And there's I don't remember exactly where it's at in the Bible, but there's a verse that says that right will be wrong and wrong will be right. And we are in that time today. We are seeing a lot of things that even just a few years ago would have been deemed wrong. And now today they're trying to tell us that these are okay. A lot of things. So from a perspective of, teens, especially, things that would be thought of that would be wrong would be like, even in my age, when I was young, and say 40 years ago, 45, dating myself a little bit there, but smoking was a big problem. Everybody would smoke. A lot of people smoked, and we were told that it was wrong. And then, at school, you'd get your buddies or whatever. They'd have a pack of cigarettes. They'd offer you one, try and talk you into smoking, even if you knew it was bad for you. And a lot of people would do it. But then they get hooked on it, too. And it's not good for you. It's bad for your lungs. Well, today, smoking has gotten a very bad stigma. So a lot of people have stopped smoking, so they've replaced it. Replaced it with something called vaping. Vaping's not good for you either. There's a lot of chemicals in it, a lot of nicotine, stuff like that. You can still get hooked on it, just like cigarettes. In some cases, when vaping first started, it was even worse because people were dying from it. In some cases, the chemicals were freezing their lungs, and they would die in a very short time if they had an allergic reaction to the chemicals that were in it. And, of course, other things, there's like drinking, alcohol. That's not good for you either. Especially in excess. It can cause you to start doing things and thinking things and stuff that you normally wouldn't do, even if you didn't have somebody putting pressure on you to do it. Gambling is another one. Gambling, even though today gambling is legalized in a lot of places, is still something that you don't want to do because, number one, God expects us to be responsible with what He's given us. We, like such as myself and many others, we go to work every day, we earn a living, and then we come home. He doesn't expect us to go gamble it away, betting on things, because He wants us to be responsible with that, what He has provided for us. Another thing is drugs. Drugs have been around for a long time, especially in, say, the 60s. That was a big thing. And the drugs of that day are not the same as they were today, even though today the government, especially even Michigan, they've legalized marijuana. Some states have even legalized heroin and cocaine and things like that in small amounts. Those are very bad things. They will kill you. They can ruin your lives. And even the marijuana from the 60s till today, it's not the same. It's a lot stronger today, and a little bit of what you could get today could put you in jeopardy compared to what it would have been a long time ago. It was bad then, and it's still bad now. And then, of course, today we've got the government trying to tell us about LGBTQ, question mark, whatever is all okay when we know it's not. God says it's wrong. It's always been wrong. is still wrong and always will be wrong. And of course, a lot of these things lead to what's called socialism. Socialism is a construct of like a political type of perspective on how to run things. Socialism uses all of these other things, smoking, vaping, drinking, gambling, drugs, all these other things as tools to get us hooked, get us under bondage, get us hooked on something, and then we depend on that. And ultimately, who's doing this is the devil. Even though our government might be saying it's okay, it's people saying it's okay, it's not. And it's the devil who's pushing this stuff. Let's see. Like I said, worst of all, it's now the government legalizing a lot of these things that were once bad. Now they're deeming them as good. So things have changed. Gambling, I use that as an example too. People can get hooked on it. So now it costs you money to do it. You get hooked on it, and then you have to have help to get off from it. So it costs you money when you get hooked on it. It costs you money to get off from it. It can ruin your family. It can cause you a lot of debt problems, cause you a lot of legal problems. But the thing of it is, we can be set free from a lot of these things too. And the Lord has given us the Bible. He's given us a way to, think about things and get out of them. And let's take a look at 2 Corinthians 6:17. And if you got a Bible, if you want to open up to that page. Okay, so we're in 2 Corinthians 6:17. I'm going to read 18 also. And it says here, "Wherefore come out from among them, and be ye separate, saith the Lord, and touch not the unclean thing, and I will receive you, and will be a father unto you, and ye shall be my sons and daughters, saith the Lord." So even the Lord tells us, come out, be separate. He doesn't want us to go along with, the everyday people that tell us that these things are okay. And he tells us that, render under Caesar what is his, and what he's implying there is that, we should do what our government tells us if they write laws, and the laws are correct, and they're not opposing God, such as if we drive down the road and the speed limit is 55, that's what we should do. It's not unjust. If we have taxes we should pay them. We owe them to the government, even if we don't agree with them. We should still pay it. So there's things that we don't agree with, but they're right and they're just, and we should do it. Now, there are other things that are not right and not just, such as doing drugs, but we don't have to. The government's not forcing us to do it. They're just telling us it's okay, even though we know it's not. And God tells us that it's not too, and he says to separate ourselves. We're not supposed to be part of that. And if we do those things also, and we claim to be a Christian, we claim to be saved, and we're doing those things, that is not a good testimony for us also if we're telling other people that it's not right, but we're doing it ourselves. Because if they happen to come to your house and they knock on the door and they see you in the window and you're standing there drinking a beer or something like that, and it's like, oh, I thought he wasn't supposed to be doing that. So I kind of ruined your testimony. And then they're not going to believe you. So let's take a look at, let's see here. And I had another one here I was going to read too. Where's it at? 2 Corinthians 7:1. So this kind of goes along with 2 Corinthians 6:17 and 18. And it says, "Having therefore these promises, dearly beloved, let us cleanse ourselves from all filthiness of the flesh and spirit, perfecting holiness in the fear of God." So God, we follow him. He's our guide. He has given us the Bible. He's given us instructions so we can lead our life and help us understand. And he wants us, we can't be perfect, but we can work on perfecting our life and trying to be as much like him as we can. He knows we're going to fall down. He knows we're going to make mistakes. but he still lets us know that we should follow him and do as he says. If it's something opposed to what he has said we should or should not do, then it's wrong. We got to follow him. So what this leads to is also, even though we're following him, he wants us to be free. He wants us to be free of drugs and alcohol and those things that some of our peers might be trying to convince us in as being okay. He wants us to be free from those so we can follow him. And if we're following, if we're under bondage, bonded to those things, if we're hooked on them, we can't follow God. We can't be a good example. We can't do the things that he would want us to do. So let's take a look at John 8:36. Actually, let's go to Galatians 5:1 first. And we got a clock that's not working up there. Okay. Galatians 5:1. Stand fast, therefore, in the liberty wherewith Christ hath made us free, and be not entangled again with the yoke of bondage. He's telling us if we want to be free, we can't be tangled with things that are going to be cause us to be under bondage. And that's what drugs and alcohol, things like that, cause us to do. Even socialism, we'll be under bondage to a government or a person or a group of people. And they're using these other tools to help keep us under bondage instead of being able to follow God. So he says, stand fast, therefore, in the liberty wherewith Christ hath made us free. He wants us to be free. He wants us to be free to be able to follow him, make a choice to follow him. That's also why he didn't make us, like a robot that we just automatically follow us. He wants us to love him freely. He wants us to choose to follow him freely. So that's why he gave us a free will and a free choice to be able to choose to follow him. So he doesn't want us to be entangled, with all of those other things. Okay, let's look at John 8:36. And this is Jesus speaking also. As Jesus said, if the Son therefore shall make you free, ye shall be free indeed. So this is Jesus telling us we're going to be free. And that's what the Son, he paid the price by going to the cross and dying for us so that we could ask him for salvation. We can be free through him. We just need to choose to follow him. We need to choose to ask him into our heart and accept him as our Savior. Okay. And that's what I have for this evening. So I hope that, it's something that you'll be able to look at and think about each day. And I ask the Lord to bring Pastor back to us safely, Mrs. McCarthy also, and I hope that their family has a good time down there. I'm going to pray, and then the teens and kids can be released to go downstairs. Father, I thank you for this day. I thank you for this time that I could bring a message, and I thank you for giving me something to think about also as I was going over this and even applying it to my life. And each one of us needs to think about all those things that the world is trying to pressure us into, and use your word and your understanding and apply that to all of the things of this world, and so we can know what is right and what